Welcome to the Dr. Mudgil podcast. I'm super excited to have Carlos Omar here, who is, again, this is like the power of social media. Carlos reached out to me last week, and he told me about some crazy shit that he's doing, which we're going to get into in a minute. And it's funny. The more that time goes on, the more folks reach out to me, and I've had to filter it a bit. But your story is so crazy that I had to get you in here. Now it's just a few days later, and I'm so excited to hear about it. So you'll fill in the gaps, but just to kind of give a little bit of background. So Carlos is a fitness professional. He's he's got an interesting backstory, which he's going to get into with us. But the reason what really compelled me to have you in the chair across from me is that Carlos is trying to break the Guinness Book World Record for the most Ironman 70.3s, which is, for folks that aren't aware, the other name for that is a half Ironman. So basically in these races that Carlos does, and you've done like 16 of them so far this year or something?
16, yeah.
So he's done 16 of these, and this is crazy. So
in 5 months.
Which is crazier. So you basically, you swim a mile, you swim 1.2 miles, you ride your bike 56 miles, and then you run 13.1 miles. So you add all those up, and that's what the 70.3 is. It's a 70.3 mile race with those three components.
Which is great.
Which is nuts. So first, before we get into it, what is the Guinness Book World Record for half Ironmans?
So right now it's 24.
Okay.
So I'm planning to completing 25, but I'm going in such a fast pace. I've been only doing this for like 5 months, and I have 16 races already. I have a long way to go. So all the races are scheduled already. And more interesting is that the last race that I'm planning is gonna be in Puerto Rico. So
the homeland.
I'm thinking, so there my money's going a little far, and I really wanna try to become a pro triathlete there, trying to get my car, and I'm going all in on that one. It's been a journey so far. I woke up one day and I told my wife, you know what, I'm just gonna run like after a while, of not doing anything, nothing like endurance sport. I've been focusing just in my clients and just train myself with weightlifting and stuff like that, and other stuff. I decided to say, you know what, I haven't run in a while. Let me just go to the Southampton Marathon, 13.1,
half
and
marathon.
just run. And
when was that?
2019.
Okay.
2018, sorry, 2018. But again, I've been a runner all my life. I run in college. I swim in college. I did so many sports. Boxing for a long time. I did 2 fights. Not in the pro, but when I was probably like 18 years old, and it was great. So I always been having that drive to sports. So I called one day and said, you know what, I'm just gonna do half marathon, and I did it. I feel great. The next day,
Did you try to do a lot of training for it, or was it just kind of like, you're just, all right, I'm just gonna go?
Yeah, I just gonna say, I'm just gonna do it.
So you didn't train, you just went and go.
I didn't train.
Okay.
I didn't train, but again, I have a running background, which is kind of good. And I did it, and the next day I purchased a triathlon bike. I signed in for the 70.3 Ironman in Puerto Rico. I trained for, I would say, for like 2 months. I did it. I did a great time, but I wasn't that happy. I was like, you know what? I have so much in the freaking tank.
So you weren't happy with your performance?
It was a great time. It was a great time comparing with everybody. It was more than average time, but I wasn't that happy. And I'm a person, I'm very competitive when it's come to do, especially endurance sports, because I know that I can trick my brain in so many ways. And I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna keep training. And then pandemic happened when I was planning on doing 70.3 Puerto Rico 2019, and I still have that on my body. I said, you know what? I really want to do that race. I really would do that race. And a couple months ago, I woke up again. I woke up one day and said, you know what? Let me see what is the record of like 70.3 Ironman. And I checked 24, and I said, this is such a piece of cake. I'm just gonna do it. And
so this is during the pandemic, like you were kind of.
This is during the pandemic. And then I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. And I contact Ironman. I contact Guinness Word Record. I told my plan, and I just start signing up for races. And in 5 months, I've been done 16 races. And I had to tell you, every race I feel so much better. Like I feel that I finish a race and I just can keep going, like on. And if you hear my journey during all this, you probably say like, how you doing this, because I catch a flight probably on Friday night, um anywhere. It can be from Utah, from out of the country, and I get there uh probably Friday very very late. Saturday, sometimes it's Saturday. Saturday I check my bike, I register, and Sunday I'm racing. And as soon as I'm racing, go to my hotel, pack my bike, catch my flight, fly home, and the next day I'm working.
That's crazy.
So
So
it's just
they're
been
always
just
on
like that.
Sundays. The races are generally on Sundays.
Most of the races are on Sundays. A lot of the races are on Saturday. So if the races are Saturday, I fly the day before Friday, and I register. Everything is just like fast, and I want to do it like that because I want to create a momentum. I want to create. Okay, I don't want to think about it.
It's like a rhythm.
This is just Friday. It's just my day that it's weekend race. If I race Saturday, Friday, I'm just wake up and saying, you know what, this is what I'm doing. Everything packed on Thursday night, and ready to go. So I already have a routine, and it's easier for me because I trying to catch a flight. This is crazy. So I trying to catch a flight that is actually makes me push myself during the race, because if I know that I don't finish on that time the race, I can catch my flight.
Oh, that's funny.
So I trying to trick my brain in that way, and I think that just keep me going. I had this conversation with some people, and my wife says something like, "Is something going on in your brain?" You know, but it's not going on. Like in your case, you love what you do. In my case, I love the feeling of pushing myself and see if I can really beat that mentality on me. Which that's how I woke up every day.
It's like a very David Goggins mindset. I'm sure you follow David Goggins. Yeah.
I'm again. I follow myself,
Yeah.
because they have their own goal and their own mindset. You have your own mindset, and I have my own mindset, and but at the end of the day, we are all connected in that way. We're connected and saying, you know what, pushing ourselves more than the extreme is good for us, because we're humans. We're coming from like people that they used to hunt and people that used to do a lot of stuff. And that's how we live. We're always trying to like make everything happen, and mostly we're trying to make everything happen in our brain. So we can have everything happen in our brain, you can project it.
Yeah, man. So I just want to like dissect what you said a little bit, because there's a lot to unpackage there.
Yeah.
Just going back to like what you were saying initially. So you were saying basically the last race you weren't going to do is the race in Puerto Rico, which you weren't able to do because of the pandemic. So
yeah.
So when you planned this schedule, I imagine you like took that races from Puerto Rico. That's the last race, and then kind of went a year backwards to plan the 25 races that you're going to do. And then you said, I guess based on whatever time you get or at that race, that'll qualify you for getting like a triathlon card.
So I had to finish first, second, or third on my on the whole race, or I had to finish first on my age group.
Okay.
So and the times that I'm doing right now, they're always better, and I've been feeling so much better in every race.
So your goal is to peak at that race.
So I think I'm gonna be on my peak. Plus, before that, I schedule all the races that way first, because there's not that many races during the winter, which is gonna give me a really good gap for train. Like very good. Before the Puerto Rico race, I'm gonna have 6 weeks off, which that's when I'm gonna build a really nice block of speed, and I have a lot of notes of every race, what I'm doing wrong, what I should be doing, and I think that that's very important. Like have a journey of what works and what doesn't work. One example, some people use products like a goo and stuff like that. I use maple syrup during my run, my race, because the body absorbs better. It's natural, and it's not like the corn syrup, which is very fructose. But yeah, in that case, so I'm gonna have a nice break between Panama, which is the race number 24, I believe, and 25 is gonna be Puerto Rico. So I'm gonna have a nice gap.
Amazing, man. So I mean, there's like so much that we're gonna get into your mindset, because that's obviously the biggest part. That's the thing that I'm most fascinated by. Just like the mindset that motivates you to do these sorts of things, and learning a bit about your process. But just going back a little bit. So, you mentioned that, you swam and you ran track in
Mhm.
college. So I know a little bit about you just from what I could like gather
Mhm.
online. I know you grew up in Puerto Rico, you were kind of like a restless kid, and you found like your outlet for your
Mhm.
energy in sports. And you were always
Correct.
very athletic from a very young age. And swimming and running became like the two sports that you were
Yep.
super into. Obviously, you were very good at them. You got a scholarship to go to college to compete in those sports.
Mhm.
For both of them, right?
For both, yeah, at the same time.
Right. So you were kind of like already a biathlete. So
Yeah.
I mean, like you were two of the three sports.
Yep.
Um, so just walk me through like after you finish college, you're whatever, 22 years old, I
Mhm.
guess. Did you do any triathlons? Did you do anything at that point? Because you never really rode. I guess bike riding. I don't know if did you bike ride before, or was that something you just added into the mix?
No. So I did a triathlon when I was in college, but I was more like for fun, you know.
Mhm.
But again, you're in college and you're not as focused as you're supposed to. You get with the wrong people.
A triathlon is even less is not even. I should say even. A triathlon is less miles than what you're doing now. Correct?
Okay, yeah. So in the triathlon, it's a sport, but it's a sport that have a lot of disciplines. So you had the super sprint, you had the sprint, you have the Olympic, you had the 70.3, and you had the 140, which is the full Ironman. Wait, that's gonna be next year. Uh, I did something that I was less than the 70.3. It
Okay.
was more like speed.
Like it was kind of like an Olympic.
Yeah,
run?
like an Olympic one.
Okay.
With a very rusty bike. With a very rusty bike because I can't even. I mean,
Yeah,
I was
nobody.
in college. I
Yeah.
wasn't able to.
Right.
Uh, so yeah, I mean, and but bike, it's it was my worst. It was something that
But did it give
I
you like a
wasn't
taste
really.
of what you wanted to do? Like that's okay.
Yes,
This is
but
something
again, I
I'm
was
into.
so focusing in swimming and in track, uh, that I wasn't able to like combine everything at the point that I lose my scholarship, by the way, on the third year
Oh, really?
because my coach said that wasn't good enough on swimming. So I mean, you're competing with a lot of athletes that are just focusing on one sport.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to compete with somebody that just work like training in one sport versus somebody that's doing two
Of
sports.
course.
And funny note about that, I swim with one of the guys in one of the race, one of the really good swimmers, and I beat the crap out of him.
Like in the current races that you're
Yeah,
doing. That's amazing.
like over 6 minutes in the water.
Wow.
And I was a sprinter, by the way. I wasn't a long distance
Mm-hmm.
athlete, but again, that's something that you build
Right.
slowly. You can be very fast when you're young, but you build that endurance through the
Mhm.
years. So yeah, I finished college and I moved to Tennessee, and I went just to straight there to work as a trainer, getting that
Why Tennessee?
experience. Well, I
A
mean,
girl.
yeah, I mean, we were talking or something, and I decided to go, to school there. Um, and I worked there for 2 years in a gym, a corp gym, and I learned so much. I also I've been in volleyball as well for a long time. So I coached back when I was younger in Puerto Rico. So I have that background that used me to work with some of the girls from the University of Tennessee. I mean, everything had to be with different sports
Mhm.
sometimes, right? But it's something that I've been a passionate for. And then I worked with a couple athletes there. I coach as well. I took one team from first year that I got the team. We qualified for nationals. Uh, they're all 10 years old, the girls, uh, and I coach them, and they play under 12, and we qualify for national. I mean, we get or as whipped there a little bit because again, different
Right.
ages is hard. But again, it's this is going back again that it's just what you put in the athlete. You can put them in that mentality of like you're gonna win, but win in this way. With prey. With win because you really wanna win. And no pressure. And I think that helps a lot. My mentality helped them to building all that. Right now, out of that 11 girls, I have 7 girls playing in Division One.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. So
Nicolay
you're still in touch
Haynes.
with you're still in touch with them.
I touched with them, not in the regular basis, but once in a while,
Yeah,
comment
yeah.
in their post or something. Oh my God, you're killing it! Like best setter, uh, but you can see that, you can see somebody that is gonna be good when they're focused on what they're doing, and they're not gonna focus if the person that is teaching them is not focused enough
Right.
of make them good.
Yeah, of course.
Then I took another team and I moved to South Carolina. In South Carolina, I work as a trainer as well, but I start my business more as a private. So I have both experience of working for a private and working
For
for a
team.
corp. And then I moved to Puerto Rico, uh, and I built my business there. Uh, I live in San Juan, Condado, which is a nice area.
Mhm.
I train a lot of.
That's like the really fancy area in San
It's
Juan,
the
right?
nice areas,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like where
It's
all
the
like
nice
the
area, yeah,
fancy stores are and things like
yeah.
that, right? Yeah.
Very nice. I train, executive, very high end from people
Hmm.
from the government, which is build all that. But again, when you have a good image, I think that actually helps. In 2008, I won Mr. Puerto Rico,
Oh wow.
and that was a pushing for me. I did campaign for Calvin Klein. I did a lot of stuff for different designers, but it's not a field that I actually like too much. But that helps, obviously. And I had the opportunity to work with so many people, work with athletes. I developed a program for after school kids uh, that never done anything, that they just want to be
Yeah,
the
yeah.
freaking video game.
Yeah, like every kid now.
So I connect with some of the school there, and I build a program trying to make the kids
Move.
after school program that actually help them instead of doing TV,
Hmm.
just know about their body, and it works, it works great. So I met my wife, and then I moved here to New York.
Did you bet your wife in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, we met in Puerto Rico. It was a fun story. She was there vacation, and we met, and the rest is story. Yeah, going
Well,
back again from Puerto Rico. She
long
was
distance.
coming there, going there. So finally, I said, you know what? Just move here to Puerto Rico. Come on. She moved to Puerto Rico, and we start building our business together.
Does she?
And
What did she does?
she's interior designer.
Okay.
She's actually a very good interior designer. She's been exposed for architect that. Yeah. So
Oh
yeah, we
wow.
have a really good match. Yeah.
So how'd you end up back in Long Island?
So we moved from Puerto Rico to New York. I mean to Long Island, and then
Is she from
here.
Long Island originally?
No, she's from Greece, but she's like me. She's been
Uh,
traveling everywhere. Her parents were used to move a lot, so I think that we make a really good relationship because we know a lot of cultures, and we are pretty open mind in different, in how how is actually life is right now. Yeah, and we move here and we start everything.
do
Purchase
either
a
of you guys have
house.
any family in Long Island, or just,
I don't have family. My whole family is in Puerto Rico.
okay?
And she only had one sister here.
Okay. I was gonna say it's kind of a random place to move.
Yeah, it is.
Long
Well, you
Island's
know what?
a
It's
weird place,
it's
man.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's nice. I've been building my business here as well.
So when did you move here?
When?
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Okay.
5 years ago.
And how old are you now?
I'm 36.
Gotcha. You're
36.
a young buck, man. Like
I feel great.
I got 10 years on you.
I feel great.
So you've been here in Long Island for 5 years.
Yeah.
And like I know we kind of know a lot of the same people, just kind of like scrolling through Instagram, like I was telling you.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people in like the fitness who are into fitness, kind of, they sort of gravitate towards each other. So I know a lot of the folks that follow you are people that I'm friends with, although we've never met before until just now. It's interesting the way that, especially here, it's like a small world, especially like a small world when folks that are like super into fitness and nutrition, that sort of stuff. So you built your business here as a trainer, like that's kind of what you've been doing your whole professional life, more or less. So talk to me about what happened during the pandemic, because you couldn't race, you couldn't do anything during the pandemic.
No. So adding that on training as well. When I moved here as well to Long Island, I started working with volleyball club. So I designed a program again that it just specialized in volleyball players. So I go there, I do condition training, and I have the whole club. In 2019, I have 275 athletes. And in 2000, before the pandemic, I used to get closer to the 350
Wow.
because I doing the biggest volleyball club, which is Long Island Volleyball Club. Uh, and I was doing, I mean, well, before that, I coached for them, and I put the team to qualify for nationals too,
Crazy.
uh, in two different ages. And I said, you know what, I'm just gonna do what I'm doing in Puerto Rico, just gonna build the program. And pandemic happened, and I'm like, oh my gosh, now I can train, you know, my athletes or something. So, and that was a big down.
Yeah.
But again, once everything is setting up, everything is gonna go up again, and we're gonna make it happen. During that pandemic, I basically start training and trying to like get active, especially during the
Training
pandemic. People
personally because you
get,
couldn't train anyone
yeah,
else.
me.
Yeah. Yeah.
People start getting, like lazy and stuff like that. I said, you know what, I'm not gonna be that person. Sorry, I'm just gonna try to. I'm not gonna get all this situation affect my brain and affect my family. I'm just gonna go out there and do something. And even in the winter, it was like 15 degrees outside, and I was like running almost without shirt because I was trying to see, just get that like stress that's been having during the exercise. Sometimes my wife was telling me, "Yo, go for a run, go, come on, go, please go, you need it."
Yeah.
And I knew that I needed it. And I was going for a run and coming back and say like, give me a kiss, and I say, "This is you, you know, perfect, you need it."
Yeah.
And I think that that's when everything started uh, tricking my brain. So you know what, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
So I guess let's see. March of 2020,
Mm-hmm.
everything shuts down basically, right?
Everything.
So your business basically was flat, went
Mm-hmm.
from like 100 to zero. All the trainers I know, that's just like
Yeah.
there's no, you
I was
can't.
doing stuff online,
Right.
that actually makes, but it's not the same.
It's not the same. Yeah, and it's also hard for that to translate.
Especially me when somebody want me to go to their home, it's
Yeah.
kind of like shocking. I still have a couple clients that say, you know what, just come.
Right.
But you build that trust in people.
Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, I mean, I know you were mad. Like whatever you had to do to get it done, because
Yeah.
I'm sure your clients. I know for me, like fitness is such a huge part of like my routine that like I kind of lose my mind a little bit if I can't train. That's with my regular schedule. Fortunately for me, I was able to work out because I have facilities at my house.
course.
But for a lot of folks, they literally were having a really hard time because they weren't working. Yeah, or if they were working remotely.
Mm-hmm.
All you're feeding your brain with is literally negativity. Just watching the news, watching. It was just nonstop.
Yeah.
There's a crazy degree of uncertainty. All of us were kind of like, well, what's going to happen now? Like, what's the world coming to? We went from 2 weeks, literally lasted for months on end. And you're right. You have to kind of, and I guess this is kind of what your wife was driving to is you have to do something to stay positive, to like, like really flip your mindset into like a mindset of abundance, not a mindset of scarcity. Because, all of, it was just natural tendency at that time to be like, holy shit, the world's falling apart. Like what's going to happen in the future? Panicking almost. But you have to flip that and say, you know what, I'm going to take full control of the things that I can take control over. It's like for me, for instance, my wife was home. She's never home. I'm never home. I'm always out and about. I like, really kind of the silver lining for me was spending so much time with my family. We got another dog. I was working out like crazy, like lifting heavy, and my wife was home. So I was eating. So I was like really good. I made like massive gains during the pandemic. Those are the things that I could control, right? Those are the things that I could do.
It's hard.
Sounds like for you, it's the same sort of thing. Like you're like, you were running, but that probably planted the seed for you doing these triathlons coming out of the pandemic. And almost like so much so that you were going to do it to such an extreme that like this idea probably was like, oh, you know what? Like I'm going to break the Guinness Book World Record, right?
Yeah. So, it that moment when when you say like, you know what, for me especially, that I always trying to, when I feel like anxiety or something like that, I trying to like just do something that just keep my brain. For example, when I was a kid, I like to go for a run, and I think that this is one of the first time that I'm gonna talk about this. I used to go and run before my dad came here, like on Fridays, but I know that he was coming with a couple of drinks, he was acting crazy, just, I'm just gonna go for a run and just go for a while and come back, and he's probably gonna be, like sleeping. And this is the first time that I talk about this, I guess. But yeah, it just it keep me moving,
So it's like an escape for you, almost from
It's
stress,
always been escape,
right?
it's always been escape, in so many ways. I used to get in so much trouble when I was a kid, and the only moment that I never have issue was when I was doing sports. Never. I was a Boy Scout. I'm an Eagle
You were an
Scout.
Eagle Scout, right?
I'm an
Yeah,
Eagle Scout.
yeah.
And even there, I was like every single time I was in trouble. In school, every single time I was in trouble. Why? I don't know. I grew up with three brothers. You know, I grew up, where the alarm probably was the gunshots. I just put it that way.
You're like the hood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very easy to get into a prostitute in the corner. And for me, it's my parents did a great job. Let me tell you, my dad and my mom, they always, even that Friday was his day. I mean, come on, yeah, of course, they did an amazing job. We went to public school. All my brothers are professional. I have tuners, brothers. One is in oncologist. Uh, another brother is he have a PhD in business. And me, I just been always in the sports, and I think that was my my escape of
Right.
just don't get stressed. And I think that it goes to what happened with the pandemic. I cannot be, having that negative mentality because I've always been a positive guy. Even in the darkest moment, I trying to find the way and make shit happen. You know. So yeah, pandemic was a big learning. It just make me understand that I can do a lot of stuff.
So,
And
so
this is
talk
not the
about like
beginning.
like when that idea popped into your head, like okay, I'm gonna like break the Guinness Book of World Record.
Yeah.
Like, what was that moment, that aha moment, where this idea, you birthed this idea?
So I was always been trying to uh do something for somebody, or like raise money for X, Y, and Z. And I always been thinking about that. So you know what? I've been receiving so much in life, but that day was something like I'm just gonna break this record. Sounds like fun, I'm gonna be traveling. It's gonna be a getaway for my
When was
week.
that though? Like, is there like a date or like a specific
So
around March?
my first race start on April last year, 2020, 2020. But it's a long it's the race is just like a full year calendar. It's not, it had to be in 21. You had 12 months.
Okay, right.
Probably a month before that.
Okay.
A month before that, I said, I'm just gonna do it.
And you're doing it for a cause.
I'm doing it for a cause, yes.
Right.
So I want to raise money for child obesity. That's the main thing. But I want to adapt that into making the kids active. So I'm trying to do something to different schools where they can put that money into developing a program, which is goes together what I've been doing, developing a program for like underprivileged schools or kids that are obese, and make them active. Make that click in their brain. How I make mine, I say, you know what, you're better than that what you think you are. You know, so I'm working with that with the Ironman Foundation.
Which foundation?
Ironman Foundation.
Ironman Foundation. Okay.
But that's what I'm working on my own as well. And we're trying to combine all the ideas together and like donate that money to whatever
awesome,
it had
man.
to be. Yeah, and it's great. I have a lot of ideas later, that I really want to incorporate the kids in so many ways. I want to run from Montauk all the way to city after all this, just to raise money for something else. So that's my goal.
Do you have sponsors for your? Because it's expensive. Like
No sponsors.
So you're paying for it all on your own.
Everything. Probably.
It's a big nut, man.
Everything. Yeah, it is. It is.
So I mean, I guess
It's
the
a big
big
nut.
fear.
It's probably around $2,000 every race.
Yeah, man. So it's
Yeah,
like,
because you have to pay. Have to pay hotel.
Right.
You have to pay nutrition. You have to pay transportation for the bag. You have to pay like right now. I'm like, I'm like behind. But again, it's at the end of the day. Something's gonna happen, and
Yeah.
and you just gonna go back again. So for now, I just want to focus in my in what I really want to do and what I promised that I was gonna do, and I'm gonna do it. After that, then we focus about other stuff. For now,
Yeah.
I just wanna
Get
keep
to the
my
finish line.
work clear. Yeah.
No, I love that, man. I
And
mean,
make it happen.
a singular focus, especially for something like this, it's like so important, man. You just got to kind of have your blinders
Yeah.
on and grind.
Yeah.
So I just a couple of like logistical questions, I guess, that I have. So the races right now, it seems like they're pretty much packed in a bulk of the races
Already.
and then you're gonna have. So you've done 16 already.
Mm-hmm.
And when is the race in Puerto Rico?
March 20.
Okay, so March 20th. So
Yeah, you have a long time.
like 5 months from now, basically 6 months from now.
6 months, yeah.
6 months. Okay.
But I have 3 races coming back and like now, so that's gonna be probably like 20, and then I'm gonna have like 5 weeks,
Okay.
5 months. So that's a long time.
Yeah.
Knocking 20 races in 6 months is a lot.
That's crazy. That's got to be some kind of record. Right? That could be a Guinness
I don't
Word Record right there.
And you know what? Maybe there's somebody doing something the same thing that I'm doing right now and keeping it quiet, just like me. You never know.
This is gonna. Not
But
be
I'm
quiet
gonna
anymore.
guarantee you something, and this is a camera. If somebody's doing this, that's fine. Just break it, and I'm gonna clap it for you. I'm gonna wait until my son is old enough, and I'm gonna break the record with him, and he really wanna do it. Otherwise, I'm gonna do it myself.
I love it, man.
I'm gonna break it back. That's fine. Records are meant to break, right?
That's it, man.
No, but again, the main purpose of this is just joking and everything. Yeah, it's in the inside is me because I'm competitive, but the most important is just like giving back, to the community. I've been receiving so much already. I've been doing so many races. I have family. I have food on my table every day. I'm good. I just wanna give something back. That's all.
I love it. You're grateful, man. That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
It's a big part of happiness. So talk to me a little bit about like the logistics of training. So, you're obviously doing the races, but what's your training like between races?
So I'm not keeping a very low, like high volume.
Like, do you ride your bike during the week?
Sometimes I don't do anything, just because I just wanna, I have so much to catch up during the week. Like between clients and and masonry and moving the crew here, so it gets packed. But right now, I just basically, if I feel that I wanna do a bicycle or something, I just go. I eat pretty good, I keep that.
Just talk to me about your nutrition a little bit. Like, do you track your calories and your macros and that stuff?
I do not track anything because I just I burn so many calories,
right?
That I just.
Well, I'm saying you probably need to eat a lot of calories.
Yeah, I just absorb a lot of, like. I eat very high in carbs.
Do you weigh yourself every day?
No.
Are you worried that you're gonna keep dropping weight?
No. Because I feel great.
Yeah.
I will worry
if I feel.
Weight? Huh?
Have you dropped weight?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Before this, I was, lean, but I have a lot of more mass right now. I'm, my body fat percent is probably like 5'4" right now.
Right.
Or even less than that.
But you lost a lot of muscle mass.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That doesn't stress you out, man.
No.
Nah.
No, because I know that I can get the mass. I mean, later. The lighter that I'm in the race, the better.
Right, it's like a marathon.
That's the way that I have to carry. Yeah.
Right.
But you see all the pro athletes, they're like, if I'm lean, because people confuse about what is lean and what is skinny.
Right.
They just go in that.
Yeah.
Skinny is when you don't have like no definition. You don't have. You look like skinny.
Right.
Versus somebody that is lean. You have the lean that can be built up, or you have the lean that is just an athlete, which is my body type. I don't watch too much of what I eat. I'm not a big meat eater.
What do you do for protein?
Probably chicken. I don't use no supplements. I don't believe in supplements.
No whey protein or nothing. Stuff.
Never.
No.
I used to use it for a long time, for short periods of time, but it's not. I don't know. I like natural stuff. I like to nutrient myself in a good way. I'm not saying that protein shakes are bad or something. It's good for some people. For me, doesn't work. For me, supplements don't work. They might work if I tried it, but I just don't want to go into it. I think that I can get a lot of nutrients in different ways, and I will be worried about, again, if I feel weak, if I feel like I have no energy, but I'm waking up the next day of the race and I feel like, let's just freaking go again.
That's great.
and
Yeah,
just go.
it's working. Whatever you do is working. But what do you do? Like, is there like a like before a marathon, like the sort of like the normal thing that you think about is someone eating a big bowl of pasta or something like the night before the marathon. Is
So
there any of that? Like, are you prepping nutrition
so
wise?
right now I'm in the process of like absorbing as much information that I get. Once that most important race is coming, which is gonna be Puerto Rico, I have a lot of data, and I'm gonna put everything and say, you know what, this is what have been working for me. This didn't work. So I don't try to like stick with the same thing.
Yeah.
Something that I do in the morning of the race is and this is always that I never change because I know that that's exactly work for me in the morning. If I don't get that in the morning, I feel not myself, and it's Lipton soup.
So basically,
You know
like
the
a lot of
package,
electrolytes in there.
electrolytes, the broth of the
Mm-hmm.
chicken, the small noodles of
Mm-hmm.
the carb, which is I'm gonna be absorbing that the first like 30 miles of the bike, you know. Then
Right.
everything is gonna turn into something good for me.
Right.
And that always goes. And I try to add some potato there and I let it boil. Sometimes I put like a egg white inside just to have the extra protein.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but it's very light, you know, and that works for me perfect.
But what about like during the race? How long are these races, by the way? How long does it take you to do that?
5 hours and a half
Okay.
around. So during the race, in the past race, I haven't nutrient myself like that well, which is sounds crazy. It's because I'm trying to. When I was training for the Puerto Rico race, I wasn't eating before my training, so I was fasting, and I was feeling like a machine.
Mm-hmm.
But the day before, I was eating very high in carb because I know that I have a very hard training. So I was fasting, and then I was going to my training, and I wasn't drinking so much. Uh, but during the first races, I start drinking, and I was feeling that is not was sitting good for me.
Mm-hmm.
So in the past races, I've been only hydrating myself like probably like a bottle of 30 ounces during the whole race, which that's nothing,
That's not a lot at all.
But I feel good,
Right.
I feel good. For some people that works, for other people it doesn't work.
Right.
I used to use
Goop.
the goose and the stinky. It doesn't go with me. I feel like the next day I'm like constipating and I don't feel good. Or during the race, I feel like I really want to throw up. But right now, I feel great. So I still gonna making changes and see what works for me. But right now, I'm just putting data and just
Yeah.
absorbing as much as I can, and then make big changes. Which I supposed to start training very very hard, in the next 2 weeks, which all the races start. So I'm gonna be more specific. There, I'm gonna be like a sweating test, uh, a lot of tests in the bike, hydration, just to be a little more specific toward the main race and guiding to get my optimum performance on that one.
What kind of bike do you use?
I use a Cervelo right now, Cervelo P3.
So there's like, bikes are like it's like kind of like golf. Like there's always like tech.
Yes,
This new club.
very
this,
tech.
So like
Very tech.
it's like which clips do you use? Which
Mhm.
like it's so much technology with bike. I
Mhm.
mean, it can literally it's the best sport for like guys that love gadgets and
Yeah.
stuff.
Mhm.
Or gals that love gadgets and stuff because there's so much stuff.
Right now,
Did you get like fitted for your bike? Did you go to like a
I have somebody that did my fitting. The first races, I purchased that bike and I never did a fit. I said, I'm just gonna do it myself, and let's see how I feel. How a freaking machine is gonna tell me what I'm gonna do. And that's the kind of mentality that you think sometimes in the mistake that you made.
Right, you learn.
And you're like, okay, I'm just gonna feed myself. I'm used to feeding yourself. And my brother-in-law, who actually did his first 70.3, and I did it with him. I was there the first day that he started swimming with me, and he can even like swim like 25 meters. He stopped at least 5 times the first 25 meters. It's like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. And I was like, you're gonna do it. Just keep consistent, just keep working. I did the first 70.3 with him.
Wow.
Sorry, he did his first 70.3
right.
with me.
Yeah.
And we did it. And he was trying to go under 6 hours. And
what's a good time? Like what is a good time for something like that?
Under 6 hours.
Under 6 hours is a good time. Okay.
Under 6 hours. I really want to do 4:45, 4:30 on the Puerto Rico race.
That's like top 3.
That's
Right.
which I'm gonna try to reach for that.
So did your brother-in-law break 6 hours?
Yeah. So we got lost during the bike. I swim with him, and
That's
I
what
was
you had to
just
swim very
relaxing,
slow
you know.
then for you.
I was relaxing with him. I said,
Yeah.
you know, I'm just gonna swim with him. I just want to make sure that he feel comfortable. And he told me, Kyle, if you feel going, just going. I said, okay. So no, I'm gonna stay with him. I'm gonna stay with him because I'm not doing it by time. I just want to complete. And then we got together out of the swim, and we got into the bike, and you have the whole family there. So I thought that he stopped to say hi to the family during the transition, and I stopped and say hi. Next day, you know, I don't see him. I was like, this just left me.
And
I
you thought
was
he was
like-
like way ahead
And I was just like going like on it. I was like, but I
to try to
thought
catch him.
I thought that he was behind me. Sorry,
Ahead of you.
I didn't know if he was ahead of me or behind me. I
Right.
said he left, but then I was like riding around. I was like, at the speed that I'm going, I should catch him already, you know. So I stopped a little bit and I said, you see, something happened with him, and I wait like 5 minutes, and I'm like, where is this guy? If something happened, I said, you know what? He just probably left.
You thought he
Yeah.
gave up.
No, I said like maybe he's like
Ahead of you. Okay,
in
right.
front of me now.
Yeah.
So we start riding, and in mile 51 or something, I see my family. I said like, "Where's Nick?" And it's like he's already in front of you, and I was like, "What?"
Oh, no way.
So he didn't wait for me,
Oh, that's funny.
right? So I see him getting out of that transition, like probably like 800 meters ahead of me, and I put the bike, and I'm like, I'm just gonna pass him, and I'm not gonna say anything to him. I'm just gonna beat the crap out of him. But then I feel bad. I said, you know what? I saw him like kind of like strong a little bit, and I passed, and I was like, got you. And he's like, oh my God, you're so hard. I said, okay, I'm gonna stay with him, and I stayed with him. And he wasn't projecting to hit 6 hours at the pace that he was going. And I'm like, that last mile, I just was picking on him, and picking on him, and picking on him. And I said, you're gonna grab the water, and you wanna keep running. Mile 10. You're gonna keep the water, and you're gonna keep running. He was stopping. I said, no, come on, let's go. Under 6 hours. He ended doing 5:55.
Oh, get out of here, man. That's crazy.
But that last mile, the last 2
tough.
miles we pushed, and he's like, oh my gosh, it wasn't because you, I will be hitting
Wow.
6 or more, you know. So it was like, yeah, very good.
Once a trainer, always a trainer, man. It's in your blood.
I was like, come on, man, are you freaking kidding me?
That's
You-
awesome,
I'm
man.
waiting for you. You're gonna be like 6 hours. There's no way. I don't want to see 6 hours on that watch.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I know. And we went through, yeah.
So you guys are pretty tight.
Oh, yeah.
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 I mean, something like that, doing something like that together. Is
Yeah, we're
like, you know,
tight. Now he wanna go to Puerto Rico. I have a huge crew going to the Puerto Rico race. You know,
That's cool.
I have a lot of people that are gonna do the first triathlon there. And I'm gonna wait for them on that one. Though.
Nah.
That's my main one.
Oh, so they're gonna go. They're gonna compete. Also.
They're gonna compete. Yeah,
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
have a few
man.
people. I'm planning on bringing up, telling my brother to do it as well.
Is he in good shape and
he's
everything
planning
too?
on. He's planning on getting into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got to start now. He's got to start training now.
He'll be good.
Yeah.
I know that he's like me. He just need that brain like click, and then he connect with him, and he's gonna start training.
I imagine like
fine.
swimming is probably the hardest part for like someone who's like a novice. Because I can't swim. I mean, I know how to swim, but I
Mhm.
can't even imagine my head swimming 1.2 miles. You know.
So I'm happy that you mentioned that, because even that I'm a strong swimmer, and this is where the mentality comes, right? The first race that I did, I had panic attack in the water. You know, when you have panic attack in the water, you have panic attack, you just want to like just
Yeah.
run away. And this is very common into people that are even good swimmers or bad swimmer, This is why this sport is very, very mental. I jump in the water, the best mentality, first race, jump in the water, 1 or 2 stroke, I had to turn around. I wasn't able to put my face on the water. I was completely blocked. Blocked. And I'm like, what is going on? And I was trying to turn and face on the water and turning back again. And I'm like, what is this? I battled with that probably for like race number 11, race number 12, doing awful times
On the swimming.
on the
part.
swimming backstroke for a long time.
Oh, really?
But never stop. So in my brain, I'm like, Carlos, you had to go through this. You have so many people like counting on you, like
Yeah.
this cannot happen. You cannot stop. You cannot stop.
And you're a great swimmer though. Like,
Yeah,
you know, yeah.
a lot of people, they just quit in the water and say, you know what, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do it because it's very hard. It's extremely hard when you are in the water and you're trying to swim and your heart rate raise. You know, you have like a bunch of people passing you, touching you, like
Yeah.
putting you in the ground, kicking you. It's hard. So you have to like pass that mentality. Say, you know what? Nothing's gonna happen. Okay? Take that shit out of your brain. Like just go through it. It took me until probably until race number 11 or 12 to get that into it.
Wow.
Even like turning around and like swimming for like 300 and trying to go back again. Every
Wow.
single like it got at that point that every single time that I was going to the water, I was already blocked.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm not gonna do this, I'm not gonna do this. But in the instant, it's like, when you're not gonna do this, you kidding me? You just did it last race. Like just keep repeating that again
That's
until you get
crazy,
better,
man.
until you get better. But thinking mine as well, I was doing the races without wetsuit.
Oh, really?
Everybody was wearing wetsuit.
Yeah.
I never wear wetsuit because I was feeling like what's gonna tight me up and feeling like claustrophobic on it because that wetsuit goes extremely tight.
Yeah.
You know, when you're swimming in a very cold water, I mean, your body shock
Yeah.
automatically.
So
You know,
that's
you're
probably
taking like
why.
a cold
Yeah.
water. So I started doing cold showers therapy. The last probably 5 seconds all the way until building it up. Of cold showers at the end, and that was helping me, you know, to get like adjusted to the cold water. But yeah, it was a mix of the cold water plus my brain
The
wasn't
nerves.
connecting it.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is I wasn't able to perform on the bike or perform the run because I was already like blocked on my head, you know. Until I get the bike, you know, I had to warm up in the bike. It was pretty cold,
Hmm.
but
But you're still breaking 6 hours even
I
with all that.
passed. Yes, I passed that already. So in the race in Maine, I did 4:58.
Wow. You swam in the water in Maine without a wetsuit?
I swim on that one with a wetsuit, but it was
Okay,
shortly.
because water's cold, man.
But it was one of my best swims,
Wow.
and I'm gonna tell you why.
What number was that? What race number was that?
Number 10, I believe, 10 or 11. The water was freaking freezing.
That's like 60 degrees, not even
It
58
was extremely
degrees.
cold. I have another story. It was extremely cold. Uh, and but that morning, I woke up and it's one of these days that you say like, I freaking feeling it. I'm just feeling it. You know, I put my uniform and I said I'm gonna push myself today. I'm just gonna go all like not all in, but I'm gonna push myself and see how much I'll be able to. Fastest that was the day that I break the barriers. I said, you know what?
In the water.
Swim, swim, enjoy. It's already like 9 races. You better surpass this. And I was feeling great. Get in the water. One of the group of the faster swimmers. Uh, and the bike was amazing and the run was great.
So where did you finish in that race? Like,
I don't know by by gender stuff like that because I never look at it honestly. I just check my time and just go to the race because I'm not focusing on this race on like I'm like racing. Probably have like 4,000 people in the race every time.
wow, that's a lot of people, man.
So I always under the 200 average people, 250,
Hmm.
sometimes 500. Uh, but again, I'm not pushing it.
Right.
It's not something
But
that
that's
I'm
a very
doing.
good time, right? Like under 5 hours
I
is
did.
crazy.
That's a crazy time, yeah. So I
Yeah.
did 4:58. And I was checking my my heart rate average because I'm racing right now. I'm racing with a heart rate average like 129, 132.
That's low, I would
That's
imagine,
very
right?
low.
Yeah.
You know, comparing with a race like that,
Right.
you're expecting a average heart rate will be like 160,
Right. Right.
170. No, my my average heart rate is always in between 130, 140, you know, around, which I know that I have a lot in the tank.
Right.
But all that is getting better because I'm doing a lot of races, you know.
Right.
And again, we're talking about momentum. You know, when you have the momentum, everything just flow. Right now, I'm just racing and just cruising, and I feel very good. You know.
So have all the races been, and where like
He's been in Utah, Florida, um, all in the U.S. I just came back from Mexico. I did a race in Mexico, in Cozumel. That was amazing. It was great. I flew my whole family there, parents.
oh, that's cool.
Then we went to Tulum
Oh, nice.
for 5 days after that. It was a great boundary, like like getting together with my mom, my dad, and my wife and my son. We have a good time. And then from there, I flew to Memphis and I did a race in Memphis.
Oh, like straight
Straight.
after Tulum.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a gap of a really good like week and a half.
Where do you swim in Memphis?
Memphis, we swam in some kind of like a lake that is in a farm.
Okay.
The water was pretty nasty. This is about this, you don't know where you're gonna swim.
Right.
You can swim in a lake, you can swim in an ocean. It's whatever that that is happened.
Maine was probably the ocean, right?
I like ocean actually.
Maine was the ocean, right?
Maine was ocean, yeah. But I like to swim more in ocean. So people are like freaking out because the sharks, and it's like nothing's gonna do. I mean, to that. I mean, I grew up in the ocean, so it's easier for me to do it. I hate swimming in lakes and in rivers. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
The water is too, I don't know. It's just like ocean. Plus, you don't float the same. In my case, that I'm a male, females are way better than men.
Because in everything in life.
They carry more they carry more body fat in their hips, so that help them to lift.
Float, yeah.
And they able to kick more, It's hard for me to kick. I have no fat right here, so it's hard. So yeah, it's again, I got kicked in the Memphis race. Somebody kicked me in my ribs. And I swallowed water. Yeah, and I swallowed water like
oh jeez.
Trying to like catch that deep breath, and okay. I stick my finger and take it out and done. Let's keep going.
It's crazy shit, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a fun sport actually.
Sounds terrible. Sounds terrible to me.
Very fun sport, I like
so
it.
talk to me about what happens now, man. After you break the record, which I'm very confident you're gonna do. What's next, man?
I don't know if I'm gonna take a break. I think I'm gonna go straight to run from Montauk to the city. The idea will be
it's almost like an ultra marathon, right?
The idea yes. The ideal will be run from Montauk to Brooklyn to the city to Bronx to Queens, so I can hit that
all the boroughs,
yeah,
except Staten Island.
Probably, yeah. And then after that, I don't know. I have a lot of stuff in my brain. Probably have like 6 or 7 projects coming up.
I love it,
but man. I think that will be the next more logical wise, because I'm just here. I don't want to just taking a big trip again and trying to do something like that. I would like to do the same thing in Puerto Rico, crossing from one side to another side, which is 100 miles. I have a friend that just did 100 miles run, raising money for a Alzheimer. He ran from the lighthouse all the way to Woodbury.
Okay.
In 2 days. So he ran 50 miles. The first Sunday he ran 50 miles. Wow. So again, I'm not the only one there, and people like that, are very inspiration for everybody. So I think that I want to be inspiration for a lot of people, that are able to, we have legs, we can run. Some people don't have legs, we have arms, we can do anything, we're complete. So I think that the way for me to appreciate life is just using what I have, and putting it out there and see what other people can do. But I have a lot of stuff. I have you name it.
I'm sure you do, man. Well, listen, I'm coming away very inspired from talking to you, and I know
that's good.
All the people that are going to watch this and listen to this are going to be very inspired. I'm going to be rooting for you, man. We're all watching you now.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm going to follow you.
It's going to be fun.
Where can folks follow your journey on social media? Why don't you just let everybody know?
Yeah, they can go to my Instagram is IM.CarlosOmar. My Facebook is Carlos Omar, or you can go to my webpage, www.carlosomar.com. You're going to have there my bio. You can take a look. You have any questions, just let me know. I'm here to help, just here to give back.
I love it, man.
I think.
I love it. Well, thanks so much for spending your
Thank you
afternoon
so
with
much
us,
for the
Carlos. This
opportunity.
is
I think
great.
that this is a great that the guy back there in the camera is doing an amazing job.
Yes, man. Shout
That's
out
why
to
I reached out here and said, you know what, hopefully I can get an interview, Yeah, and I like camera, I did some movies in the past, you know, and I think that to close this, you don't have to be, I don't want to say like an expert or something, or be like a, you have to have the desire to something, you have to desire to do something and say, you know what, I can make this happen. There's a lot of stuff that I would like to reach in my life, but I'm not thinking on that right now. Once I'm thinking of that, I know that I'm gonna be reaching it, because so far I'm healthy, and I think that my mentality just keep growing more and more and building that like self-esteem, and that I got like a building like muscle, like at the moment. I think that every single time that I want to reach something, I just go for it. So far I haven't get sure. So, but again, you have to be surround good people, you're in good energy that can keep expiring, right?
That's it, man. I mean, I think that your journey is a testament to mindset and self-belief.
Yeah.
And you're right, and I talk about this a lot. You have to surround yourself with like-minded people,
Mhm.
people who are pushing themselves.
Yeah.
Because, and I talk about this a lot, even in my book and, on my platform, the more potential you realize that's within you. Like, for you, this journey of yours, like, once you complete your 25th Ironman or half Ironman or Ironman 70.3, you're going to be like, wow, you're going to look back on that and say, wow, I did 25 of these in a year. I mean, that's basically like one every 2 weeks, basically.
Yeah.
And like, shit, what the hell else am I capable of doing? I mean, it's just literally the potential is like endless, man. And the more, and and like I said, speaking with you has inspired me, man. I'm like,
Thank you,
God,
thank you.
I gotta start doing some more. Man.
Oh, listen, you have to do that, and again, a lot of people telling me like, oh, you're not, you're like a machine or something. I'm not a machine. I'm a human being, just like you, just like him, just like everybody else. We are meant to be the same way. Like every single time that you wake up, most of the people are doing the same. Most of the people are just waking, like open their eyes. So we are equal since the first moment that we open our eyes. It's what you really want to do with after you open your eyes. Or you want to keep dreaming and like reaching or chasing your dreams, or you just want to get stuck in the same thing. No, you choose. I choose to be better every day, and I choose to be an inspiration for my family, and inspiration for my wife, and inspiration for myself, because I can inspire myself. I can just keep inspiring people.
So that's what I like. I think that's why you're so good. I mean, just your track record of like bringing teams to the national championships, and all of that stuff that you were talking about, bringing 10-year-old girls who are competing against 12-year-old girls to the nationals, elevating the people around you. It starts with you. I mean, it's that mindset is contagious, man.
It's very important.
You're obviously inspiring a lot of people.
Everything starts from you. Everything starts from yourself.
Well, thank you so
have
much.
To be clear. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Let's get everyone follow Carlos, all right?
Yes, sir.
He's gonna kick some ass this year, and we're gonna be there to watch it all, man. Thanks for spending your afternoon with us, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.